In a universe populated by monsters, giants, and larger-than-life beings, I was determined to find my own path to the top of the mountain in sports entertainment. I wasn't gifted with superhuman size or strength, but I did have an insatiable thirst to learn, the physical gifts to take to the air, and an uncle who was more than happy to give me the tools needed to become one of the greatest competitors to ever lace up a pair of boots. Starting my career in Mexico, I'd be known first as La Lagartija Verde, which means the green lizard, and Colibri, hummingbird. Still a teenager, I would eventually earn the highest honor from my uncle, as I was officially crowned Rey Mysterio Jr. I would take everything I had learned from my uncle and make it all my own. I would bring Lucha Libre to the world stage. I would make cruiserweights as popular as our heavyweight counterparts. And I would prove that a cruiserweight could win it all, as long as they were given the opportunity. I would arrive in America, first stopping in ECW, before garnering the attention from the top people at WCW, who quickly signed me to a contract. With my foot in the door, it was just a matter of time before I took over the world of sports entertainment. Every step, a battle. Every opponent, a new face who felt they were superior to me. Every match, giving me a new objective to strive to meet. Should I try to weaken their legs? Throw all of my aerial techniques at them? Maybe surprise them with some defensive lucha libre? Take it to the outside? Show off my newest move? By the time I got to the ring, I always had a little mental list of things I wanted to try in order to win. And with every victory, I got another reminder that the best was yet to come. After winning WCW's Cruiserweight Championship, Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship, and the World Tag Team Championship, I would finally head to WWE to further build my legacy. In the near 20 years since I debuted in WWE, I have become known as, quite simply, the greatest luchador in sports entertainment history, the greatest masked superstar of all time. Rey is the king, having competed against every big name possible and having defeated nearly everyone that stepped in my way. Not every road is paved with gold, and mine was no different. But even when the road gets challenging, there's always opportunity. The opportunity to learn from mistakes, to grow as a competitor, and to get better. I may not have had my hand raised every time out, but there's never been a time where I didn't leave the ring better than when I entered. The memories behind the infamous match of Halloween Havoc 1997, which I truly believe is a match that put me on the map. I was a big fan of Eddie growing up, so to be able to forward all these years and then eventually share the ring with him was incredible. It was an honor for me to face one of the Guerreros. Overall, that match was highly important for me. The fact that I could become Cruiserweight Champion that night and defend my mask, not have to be unmasked. You know, that was something that was really in the back of my mind. I just didn't want to go through that. They were trying to take off every luchador's mask one by one, and I was on the list. So you could only imagine the stress that had built up. And for us luchadores, it's a very prized possession. You know, this is something that I've carried since 1992. We both know, Eddie and I, what the mask means to us that carry it. So he knew what was at stake. I would never give him the satisfaction of taking my mask. Never. everything, and I figured Eddie wouldn't see this coming. I have to be able to take some pain to dish out some more. Yeah, Eddie was Eddie, man. Always thinking, always a step ahead of me. I just knew what was coming. I just felt a little too confident, you know, and he took me out viciously. You know, at the end of the day, it felt like this was just a nice reminder that it wasn't just a match. You know what I mean? I mean, Eddie was trying to stop me that night as I was trying to stop him. He wanted to take it all away from me, and I could not slip on that fact. You know, that slingshot senton that Eddie always does, it's beautiful to see when you're not on the receiving end, but it sucked being on the other end of that senton. And seeing him taunt me, you know, it kind of boosted me up. It fueled me up to keep going during that match. One thing that I felt during this match is I kept getting frustrated. You know, thinking that I was in control when in an instant, you're trying to catch your breath while you're on the floor. Like I said, Eddie was Eddie, and he knew exactly how to mess with my head. You know, I just remember thinking, not like this. I couldn't lose my mask to Eddie like this. So I had to keep going. In the span of 3 seconds, I took one of Eddie's biggest moves, the gory special, and kicked out of it. But then, I get a drop kick on the back of my head. I was starting to really wonder if I'd be able to win this thing, and was really getting desperate. Respect. I've sat and watched that match. I actually watched it not too long ago with my son Dominic. And it's a match that I still learn from. And, you know, it's a match that doesn't get old. I truly believe that if there was no Eddie Guerrero, my career would have gone a different direction. 8 years after our epic Halloween Havoc clash, Eddie and I were on better terms, but still found ourselves unable to resist the friendly competition in WWE. Holding the WWE Tag Team Championships only drove us to wonder who the better man on the team was. We both held victories over the other, but the chance to meet at the showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania, was something we couldn't pass up. For the first time ever, two tag team champions would go one-on-one at the grandest stage of them all. We both knew what this match meant to the other, and it's what made it so fun to go out there and try to take the glory for ourselves. With no hard feelings, of course. You know, I've always said that it was always very cool to just compete against Eddie. With all the extra personal stuff, Eddie has always had my respect, you know, and a year removed from being WWE champions, everything he did was so flawlessly executed, like to the T. I knew this was going to be something special and another test that was yet to come. Just when you start feeling comfortable, things get out of control and no longer technical. Now, that was Eddie. Eddie made you feel so comfortable, and once you least expected it, there you go, over the top rope. He'd take you out of your comfort zone. I take this back to Halloween Havoc. I tried to get fancy with him. He pulled me off the apron immediately. So this time, I made sure I ended up on top in the ring when I wanted to show off for a quick second. Live and learn, correct? Eddie always powerful, and maybe this match felt a little different, but it was always the same old story. Eddie always had an answer for everything. I should have seen that elbow coming though. He caught me pretty good. Eddie started to get into that flow right here. I needed to make sure that I didn't let him come through with this. Now I figured reversing the Three Amigos would shake him off for a second. But it barely fazed him. Before I knew it, bam! Another backbreaker, lucha libre style. Honestly thought that escaping the Three Amigos for a second was my chance. When I managed to whip Eddie into the ropes, I saw the opening and I took it like anyone else would. But again, always Eddie, he knew and had incredible ring awareness. Another backbreaker. I was really wondering if this was just not gonna be my night. Feels good to hit the 619, but here, when I finally connected, it felt really good. I said, let's go, man. This is gonna be it. You know, I was so close to victory. I'm ready for the springboard. I jump off the hook for the Rana, and what do you know? Eddie catches me with that powerbomb again. Just brought flashbacks. I've already been here. I knew what this was all about. So again, kick off on instinct, purely. At this time, your mind is doubting, and you have to make sure that you stay on track and you finish the task at hand. But then, For the first time in the whole match, I knew exactly what was coming. Eddie went for the backbreaker one more time, which he already done before, and I made him pay with the perfect Huracarana, my signature move. From feeling hopeless to beyond words that I won, I competed against Eddie so many times. He'd won, I'd win, but I swear that at WrestleMania 21, I faced the best version of Eddie Guerrero, the man. There's a small part of me that still can't believe I pulled it out. I was actually shocked. He was just on a different level that night. What a win that was for me. Historical.
Eddie Guerrero has passed away. Eddie was in the prime of his life, 38 years old, the prime of his career. So tonight, we celebrate the life of Eddie Guerrero.
The toughest thing about this day was what we were all living, what we were going through. It was hard for us to accept that Eddie was no longer with us. Everyone was hurting. I asked myself, what would Eddie have done? And Eddie was all about the business. Whatever happened, show must go on. I did expect to wrestle Shawn one day, just not under those terms. One of the greatest legends in WWE history. He has a lot of respect for this business and for the superstars that are up and coming. By Shawn Michaels asking me if I had the energy and the courage to have a match against him that night. He didn't have to choose me, but he did because he knew that Eddie would have loved it. That speaks of the type of human being that he is. Losing Eddie was one of the most painful experiences in both my personal and professional life. The WWE Universe came together to pay tribute to one of the most respected and beloved superstars of all time. This was a difficult night for all of the obvious reasons, but we wanted to put on a show that Eddie would be proud of. I found myself in a rare one-on-one. Of course, I wanted to win for myself, for my fans, and for Eddie. And while Shawn was also grieving, I knew that he would still give me everything he had, just as Eddie would have wanted. That night was heartbreaking, but at the same time it was special in its own way. I remember Shawn Michaels coming up to me and asking me, "Do you have what it takes to jump in the ring tonight against me? I think Eddie would really enjoy a match between you and I, Ray." How can I resist? As heartbroken as I was, I knew that Eddie would have loved to continue on. So that's what I did. I knew it was going to be something special. was really surprised to see HBK make such a basic error. But I was going to capitalize if I could. You have to. There's no other way to put it. I don't think he was necessarily done at this point, but you always gotta try, right? There's no other way. If that 619 connects, I'm thinking to myself, it's over. I remember Sean biting on that 619 fake out and just thinking to myself, let's go! And just launching myself at him to the floor. When you get hit by Shawn Michaels, it rocks you. And by that time, I could really get what was going on here. Boom! There's that elbow drop. I was lucky that he didn't try to pin me then. That's because there's a sequence to all of that. He drops the elbow, he nips up, and then he stomps the leg, ready to hit you with that sweet chin music. remember getting up and luckily moved at the right time. So I connect with the 619, and I already know what's coming next. Springboard, leg drop. When I hit that and I saw that he didn't move and I connected, I remember hooking the leg, and I was in awe when I heard the 3. I couldn't believe it. I really was shocked.
Rey Mysterio!
Now you have to keep in mind, this was my first time facing Shawn Michaels. But at the same time, my brother had just passed. So, mixed emotions, but I felt like a truly blessed man, and I know Eddie was watching. I know Eddie was in that ring. He had a special corner that night and enjoyed every minute of it, just like we did. I believe defending a championship is way harder than becoming a champion. There's always more pressure defending, keeping that title that you work hard to get. Anyone, whoever wants to become champion, they just want to destroy you. They want to take what's yours. And with a guy like JBL, he just wants to destroy you. But he would always nag and put you down. He would step on you and step on you.
Amigo!
Crush you down and just make you feel this big. Being the smallest superstar in that ring, facing giants in a world of giants, that was my fuel to overcome every time I stepped into the ring with him. I had finally reached the pinnacle of WWE by winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania in honor of my good friend, Eddie Guerrero. As a World Heavyweight Champion, I knew I had a target on my back and would face some of my toughest opponents, including John Bradshaw Layfield. JBL always made it very easy to get motivated for a match. His loud mouth, the constant mockery, and his knack for crossing the line to make things personal. He didn't think I was a real champion. He thought I'd just be a stepping stone to his reign as a dual champion. Went into Judgment Day ready to show him that all his bluster and power wasn't enough to stop Rey Mysterio. have to admit, I enjoyed each one of these. JBL is so hittable with that target, you can't miss him, you know? And all the stuff that he talked about him, I didn't just want to outmaneuver him. I wanted to show that I could brawl with one of the big boys here in WWE. I let him get to me. Yep. We all tend to do things like that against JBL, and he made me pay. You know, when that big boot catches you right across the face, you're talking a size 13, all in your face. Wrestling, suplex. But when I knew what JBL was doing to me after he hit me with that first suplex, and I felt him roll over and take my weight with him, and pick me up for a second one, and then a third, it was humiliating not being able to stop him. Look at the size difference. But it fed me with the motivation that I needed. JBL doing the Eddie shimmy. Obviously, I didn't see this happen because I was on the floor. And I'm glad I didn't, because I would have got right back up and kicked him in the face. JBL with the baseball slide dropkick right at the side of his legs. I figured that I had this coming once I went for that Bronco Buster and he put up that size 13 boot. JBL is one of the smartest minds in this business. He will do anything at all times to steal the win. But I really didn't imagine he'd risk a disqualification like that. Maybe he knew the ref would be lenient with the championship up for grabs. I couldn't worry about all of that. Not at that moment. Still don't know how I managed to kick out of that. Honestly, JBL's got one of the best and strongest power bombs WWE has ever seen. I definitely was knocked out for a minute. But hey, being lucky is just as valuable as being good in the right situation. I just couldn't lose that night. Not to him. I saw JBL coming in with that chair, big old smile on his face, and I let him think that he was about to hit me with it, but next thing you know, caught him. It was just a matter of time after that. And yeah, a little frog splash from above to remind JBL just who he was messing with. This was such a satisfying win. Nobody throws you off your game like JBL. Getting the victory meant a ton to me. And of course, and still, world champion! The big red machine, Kane, had his sight set on eliminating me from WWE in 2008. The monstrous 7-foot-tall behemoth took pleasure in mocking my pain and misery. Kane thought he could use his mind games to break me, but I wasn't gonna let that happen. It's tough keeping your head in the game when facing someone so sick and sadistic, but at Cyber Sunday, where the WWE Universe would choose our match stipulation, the fans chose no holds barred. I didn't know what type of strategy I was gonna bring to the table that night. My technique has always been aerial maneuvers. Was I gonna be able to get away with it at a no holds barred match? I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to show fear. How do I take the big man down? Hit him with whatever I got. I was gonna meet him head on, regardless of the match type, and show him that you can't break Rey Mysterio. guess trying to get him with the stop sign wasn't the correct thing to do, because that really got him angry. There's a huge size difference between Kane and me. Kane was always the big red machine. When there's no rules, there's nothing stopping him. The places his mind goes to dish out the violence that he does, that's gotta be deep and dark. It's crazy. This was still early in the match, and Kane already had me in big trouble. Anytime he hits you, takes you out. Sure that was gonna work, but I knew if it did, it'd buy me some time. Lucky for me, it did work out. And then of course I managed to get Kane set up perfectly, but Kane had other plans for me. this move I love. In the back of my head, I knew that Kane had more left in the tank. But I was going to try to do anything I could to try to pin him and win. Definitely a little letdown that he kicked out. But I just had to stay focused and on top of him. Like taking the risk and my chances if I wanted to bring him down. But sometimes the risk just doesn't pay off. Kane saw me coming and I suffered the consequences. In these types of matches, you can hear the crowd buzzing a little, and then you know something next is coming. You can even hear the commentator saying, "No, what's he doing? No!" You're just trying to get up to your feet, not knowing what's about to hit you. Here it is, when Kane wraps his hands around your throat, you're thinking you're going up for a choke slam. I remember doing everything I could to hook him and put him into the stairs with the drop toe hold. Where I took all my chances. It was now or never. I had to put Kane away. And I was going to empty my tank if I needed to. I figured if I got out of the first choke slam, I'm pretty sure I could do it again. And I did everything I could to get out of it. Once I hit the 619 and the springboard splash, it was over. Now, I had too much at heart to let the fans down. They were the ones that chose this match. They wanted a no DQ match. Here it is. And what a true honor to beat WWE legend like Kane and a Hall of Famer. I mean, I have to admit, Kane is special, but an evil special. When I became Intercontinental Champion, I was honored to hold the title with such a vast legacy of greatness. I was excited to face new challengers as the landscape was evolving. A brash newcomer named Dolph Ziggler thought he had me figured out and brushed me to the side. My point of view of Dolph Ziggler coming in, I had the utmost respect for him. He was very exciting to watch. He had a style, but with a new spike to it, a new feel to it. I knew Dolph was hungry coming into this match, and he was one of the up-and-coming superstars. But there's a mistake that he made that you never make in this business. Dolph felt like he was already the Intercontinental Champion before our match had even started. So I made sure to teach him a very valuable lesson at the biggest party of the summer. At SummerSlam, Dolph's arrogance was going to be his downfall if I had my way. but it set me up perfectly for that moonsault. Man, I still wish I'd gotten the pin there. People be talking about that forever. I'm still amazed I stuck that landing. Yeah, gotta do it up big at SummerSlam. I knew Dolph was gonna test me with his athleticism, so I had to turn it up and show him right off the bat that I could sprint with him. No problem. I'm defending my championship, you know? That meant some more high-risk lucha libre too. Ziggler showed me some real high ring IQ when he went for broke here. But he also showed his experience when he let me regroup right next to him while this was all going down and he was throwing his tantrum. Can't do that when you're against me. You know, I was definitely stunned here, and Dolph got a good pin on me, but didn't have enough strength to hold it. And that happens to all of us. We were both exhausted, man. You know, good try, but not today. Set me up for good. I knew Dolph was getting really frustrated. I can see it in his face, and I felt that vibe right off the bat when we went up to the top. He was trying to do something big, but I knew what was coming. And that's a good thing. You always have to read your opponent. Been in that position before. Saw that Rana right there. Dolph's an incredible opponent. No doubt about that. But that night, I was at a level he wasn't ready for. I like to think he learned a lot from that loss. Like maybe even I helped him become great, you know? But what a big win that was for me. I love being Intercontinental Champ. Love defending it against hungry competitors like Dolph Ziggler. That bragging rights for the World Heavyweight title was every man for himself. I would have thought that Batista would have known that walking into that match.
Ray, I'm gonna rip your head off.
I'm no stranger to betrayal. Throughout my career, I had people that I thought were friends end up turning their backs on me. But this one, for some reason, it hit a very soft spot. I couldn't make sense of what had gone down.
You're supposed to be my friend!
If I would have known that this was gonna interfere in our friendship, I would have never have done what I did.
We had gone through so much together, and after weeks of verbal and physical assaults, I knew that we could never go back to the way things were. I wanted to make him feel the same way I did, to return that feeling to him. And the best way I could think to do that was to beat him on Smackdown and get the #1 contender spot that Batista felt belonged to him. I knew Batista's game plan from the get-go was gonna be to manhandle me. So I just looked to use the momentum to my favor. I mean, my hope was to be wherever his fists and boots were not. And then before I knew it, I was in the worst possible spot I could ever be in. Just gotta start going crazy, doing whatever I can to get free. Luckily for me, I was close to the ropes, or that would have been a really short night for me. Batista can pretty much hurt you with simple stuff, like clotheslines or spears. I literally have to hurl myself at you from tall heights to get that same effect. It definitely did the trick. Yo, that was a rough landing, right? Thought I was in a good spot? Not that time. So then Batista wanted to get a little out of his element. So I just drop-kicked him back down to reality. He gave me a chance to reset the match, just a little, and I was happy to take it. I was going out on my sword, you know? If I had any breath left, I was fighting him. I couldn't give up. He rocked me with that spear, but I wasn't out. It hurt to move, but I knew that he was just getting angrier the more I hung around and kicked out. And then, of course, like we all do at points, he got a little careless, a little sloppy, and I made him pay. I wanted to get revenge on him, but I knew the best way to do that was winning the match and taking the World Championship opportunity from him. Batista just wanted to hurt me, and his forgetting the gold made it possible for me to get that win. I hated having to fight him, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do once that bell rings. After dealing with Batista, I felt like I was at the top of my career. I was a #1 contender. The Undertaker is unlike any other opponent.
Rey Mysterio, your courage unquestionable, but make no mistake about it, I will show you no mercy.
I went into the 2010 Royal Rumble fully believing in myself, confident that I could defeat him.
At the Royal Rumble, you will suffer the same fate that everyone else has suffered when they have tried to make a name for themselves at my expense.
Undertaker! I am not afraid. I am not like the rest.
I knew I had the speed advantage, and that if I could maybe take out a leg or catch him with something unexpected, I had a chance. It's not just the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog, right? Well, this dog had just found himself in the yard of the top dog, the Phenom. It would take everything I had to avoid ending the night resting in peace. Usually if the 619 is gonna miss, the guy moves. Taker set me up good here. Had me thinking I was fine. And then all of a sudden, he got me prepped up for the tombstone. Undertaker's ability to set traps in the middle of a match is without equal. I'd seen that my knees, or maybe even one of the kicks, had busted him open and wanted to take advantage while he might be a little shook. Unfortunately for me, he was more than ready for that plan. But I'd seen the blood. I'd heard him. He was human, and I knew if I just kept at it, I could win this match and become world heavyweight champion again. I just had to get back to my feet. Is always a double-edged sword. But it's a scary place when Taker's got you out on the floor. And he's setting you up for the last ride. And even though he just caught one of my dives, that moonsault, I had to keep trying. And I knew that moonsault was going to be money. Tell you, Taker recovers faster than anyone else I ever competed against. I figured the baseball slide would be the perfect follow-up to keep him reeling. But he saw it coming, and in an instant, had me struggling to get my breath once again. What could I do to this guy to stop him? Oh man, right here, I could taste the victory. Had Undertaker in a real bad way. And knew it was just a matter of the finishing touches. But then, just like that, it all went south. And Undertaker did what he does best. And my name was added to the tombstone of all his victims. Coming so close to defeating him and having him just take it all away in an instant blink of an eye. After you compete with Undertaker, you gain a full appreciation for why he truly is the Phenom and forever will be. It wouldn't be the last time we compete, but it's one of my favorite matches, even if it didn't go my way that night. Hasta la próxima, enterrador. With the WWE Championship controversially vacated in the summer of 2011, I fought and clawed to the finals of the WWE title tournament with my opponent, The Miz. Had to face 3 different opponents to get to the top of the tournament. Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, and then The Miz. I hate The Miz inside that ring, 'cause he's very dangerous. He'll do anything to win. Maybe we weren't in the middle of a huge personal rivalry, but there was no chance I was going to let The Miz stand in my way of finally winning the WWE Championship. With an opponent as tricky as he is, I had to be ready for anything. Every time you face him, you just don't know what he's gonna come up with to try to steal one from you, which can make the whole pace of the match feel fast and chaotic. But I thrive in that environment, and that night, I was going to use every bit of my experience to get that victory. A lot of people underestimate Miz's mental approach. But he was cutting me off at every turn in this match. He wasn't joking around. Miz definitely came looking to prove his last reign wasn't a fluke. He was ready for everything early on and had me rocked real early. Maybe I had come in taking Miz a little lightly. But I can tell you, after I kicked out here, I understood that I was going to be in a dogfight. Despite his team saying otherwise, on this night, he had not come out to play. I just needed something to buy a minute because Miz was coming strong. Thankfully, the ring post was right there when I needed it. That was it. Miz was hurt pretty bad. I was a little deflated when he kicked out, and I truly think I lost my focus there for a minute. Miz took advantage when I let frustration take over for a second, and that DDT that he hit me with had me seeing stars. Maybe he didn't get the pin there, I don't know. But if I made another mistake like that, I was gonna pay. Miz would be leaving the arena with his second WWE Championship. I was truly fortunate that Miz, probably a little impatient there, grabbed me when I was so close to the ropes. If I can't get my hand on the ropes, he probably ends this match right there. A costly mistake on his part. Miz let me hang in there a bit too long. By the time he was charging, I saw him clearly and basically played possum. After the match we had, I didn't want to get ahead of myself. But man, when I saw him hit those ropes, I knew it was over. Then the 619 landed, and I saw he wasn't really moving at all as I climbed those ropes. I never thought I'd hold the WWE Championship when I started. Getting that 3 count on Miz, holding that championship in my hands, it was an incredible moment in my career. Even if it didn't last as long as I would have hoped. No one can take that achievement away from me. And without someone like The Miz to push me in that bout, I truly wouldn't know if it would have meant as much as it did. After a short time away, I finally returned home to WWE and was looking to make an impact, and found myself in the crosshairs of the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. I believe Samoa Joe is very dangerous in many qualities in this game. He's strong, he's fast, his submissions are incredible. I felt all of those three and more every time I faced him. Each time we met, it felt like he found a new body part to target.
Aside from being ruthless, Samoa Joe is one of the most intelligent competitors you will ever see inside of a ring.
Samoa Joe is relentless, and I'm man enough to admit that he got the best of me at WrestleMania.
If you thought what I did to you at WrestleMania was bad, Rey, tonight will make that pale in comparison.
I wasn't gonna let him derail my WWE return so soon. With the chance to battle him again on Raw, I knew that if I could dig deep and avoid his devastating blows, I had a chance, which, against Joe, is all you can really ask for. Joe thought he could just do whatever he wanted of me. Look how he just tosses me out of the ring. But I was still okay. A little shook, but okay. That tope never had a chance. I was just happy he didn't catch me there. Joe's a really strong dude, and I was risking being powerbombed on the floor if this didn't work. I definitely overestimated the damage I'd done to Joe at this point. He just waited for me to come to him, and I obliged. Huge, painful mistake right there. To get creative if I was going to win over Joe. I hit him with stuff that he hadn't seen me do before. Just like that. someone just block the 619 before like that. Joe's lethal, and I had to act fast. Precision beats power, correct? Placed the boot perfectly and got myself a little time just to breathe. But if I didn't do something quick, this was gonna go like every other match I had with Joe. Now here I was really rocked, I'm not gonna lie. Luckily he went to lift me up and not go for a cover right there. Joe had me right where he wanted me, but he waited just a little too long to act, and that gave me the time to realize what was happening. I countered the Unagi and finally get the pinfall victory over him. I know the United States Championship wasn't on the line that night, but beating Samoa Joe that night made me feel like a real champion. Joe made me realize immediately in my return that WWE hadn't gone any easier, and I'd had to be on my A game each and every night. He's an incredible opponent, and not too bad of a guy when he's not jumping you after you beat him for the US Championship, I guess. Throughout my career, I've competed against the best luchadors on the planet, and I own victories over them all.
The greatest match superstar in WWE history.
The chance to take on another Lucha Libre master in Gran Metalik was something that got me very excited. Competing against another luchador, it motivates me. It inspires me to learn from the new generation, and I have something to teach them as well. This guy right here, Gran Metalik, at one time was watching me on TV and said, I want to do that. And look at him now, one of the best. He's the king of the ropes.
Metalik loves to fly.
It's a different style of high flying. It's a different control. This generation has something new under their sleeve, and you have to respect that.
The heritage and culture of Lucha Libre in great hands here.
When I had the opportunity to face Gran Metalik, I knew these were deep roots. We were going back to where I began. I was so excited to give the WWE Universe a taste of true Lucha Libre, and knew this was a dream match that they couldn't afford to miss. From the second he grabbed me, I knew right away that he was here to make a statement. He brought the fight with him. I knew this was a match he'd wanted ever since I had returned. And man, he came out crisp, looking good, and on point. Counters everything I tried. Now, I've given this move to many of my opponents and taken them down. But when I hit Metalik with this rana and he pulled out with the cartwheel, I was like, what? Now, trust me, I have a lot of respect for Metalik. When I set him up for the 619, I said, is this match gonna be over that soon? As I ran and I go to hit it, he pulled out and then just rolled me up. 1, 2, kick out. I was like, wow, okay. I knew at the beginning of this that he was gonna bring a fight, but he really brought the fight. This was like peanut butter and jelly. I hit the senton, and right after that, it's the springboard crossbody. Two moves that always go back to back. This is the lucha libre style. That's what it's about. That's right. El Rey de las Sogas, King of the Ropes, right? Hard to not be impressed when you see him do that, but not when you're on the receiving end. It's like everywhere we went, Gran Metalik was in my face, not backing down from anything. And that Rana, man, I don't remember even being knocked out so hard off a Rana. Normally it's me giving them, not taking them. I still had the fight within me. Kicked out at 2, but I had to stay sharp if I wanted to leave with my hand raised. Gran Metalik wasn't letting up. Now this match had been non-stop back and forth action, and I knew we were both getting a little tired in there. Honestly, I was, and I thought he was as well. So when he didn't offer much resistance to the Rana, I thought maybe this is the right time. I was on the path of the 619. It connects in a matter of moments, finishing up with the frog splash.
Here is your winner.
Now this match was back and forth,
Mysterio.
up and down. Lucha Libre style at its finest. When that frog splash landed, I knew that was it. It was over. Now I gotta say, Gran Metalik put up a hell of a fight. He was everything I expected and much more to be as an opponent. And I told him once it was over, I would love to have this match once again. I love seeing the next wave of luchadores, and getting to test myself against one of the best and the upcoming was very special to me. Getting the win, of course, just makes it much sweeter. Rivalries in WWE often go beyond pride or championships and turn personal. With that said, I've never felt a more personal, bitter, and gruesome rivalry than I did with Seth Rollins. The Messiah and his disciple Murphy attacked my livelihood and targeted my eye. That particular attack was unexpected. Once they took that, they targeted my family and brutalized my son Dominic. For months, our intense rivalry continued to escalate, and I knew it was coming to a head. I desperately wanted revenge. At Payback, we were going to show Seth and Murphy that they picked on the wrong family to mess with, and we were going to return all the pain they'd put on us. And to my pride, Dominic was going to show me that he was more than capable of standing on his own. I was surprised as much as the WWE Universe with his ability to perform. Wrestling against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the first time, that was his first match ever. And he'd done moves he had never done before. Positioning, timing, that all takes years to learn. And he managed to pick up on it in one night, teaming with my son for the first time. I felt like I was flying higher than any West Coast pop. We were going to overwhelm them from the start. Nothing was going to stop the Mysterio family that night. Nothing. We obviously want to get our payback here, but I definitely had a moment where it just hit me. I'm teaming up with my son. We're doing a double team combination in the middle of that ring. A really intense mix of emotions. So much anger, so much pride. It's a weird world sometimes.
Come on. Show me what you got, Seth. Get your punk ass in here. Come on, Seth.
Seth literally tried to take my eye out, and I wasn't gonna waste any time or effort on Murphy. He had to face me, eventually, man to man.
This is what you want, huh? Careful what you wish for, Ray.
It was really hard to stand on the apron watching Seth treat my son like that. But I had to trust in Dominic, that he was capable of fighting his own battles. And then seeing him trying so hard to get back into the match, he makes Seth miss. I'm losing my mind in the corner, hoping he has enough time to get to me. It was like time stood still here for me. I'm just reaching, hoping he can make it. And then I see Seth grabbing him. When Dominic kicked him off, I was more relieved he was okay than I was that I was back in the match. But now, I was gonna do some work on Seth. Seth woke me up a little when he told Murphy to kick me in the head, so I was ready. And he suffered the consequences of being so damn arrogant. I knew Dom was aching to beat Murphy, and I wanted him to get that feeling. I just told him to send me to Seth when I tagged him. And he heard me loud and clear. Y déjenles digo, I've won Royal Rumbles, countless championships, and let me tell you, déjenles digo de veras, nothing felt as good as this win did. Getting to team with my son was easily the proudest moment of my career. Tengo un gran orgullo, and seeing him get the win was a rush unlike anything else. La venganza es dulce. Revenge was great, but seeing my son succeed is what mattered the most. Estoy tan orgulloso de él. I'm so proud. When I first started in this game, there were a lot of doubts about what I'd be able to accomplish. From day one, I took that doubt and used it to fuel my desire to reach for the sky and achieve everything I could desire in this business. Whether that meant taking to the air against fellow luchadors and high flyers, or trying to outmaneuver the greatest mat technicians, or simply trying to avoid the biggest finishers from the biggest monsters. I was always ready to prove that I had the ability to not just be good, to not only become a champion, but to go down in history as one of the greatest superstars of all time. I've traveled the world in search of the highest competition, and while things didn't always go my way, I've made sure to try and turn every negative into a positive. When you have the entire world thinking you're in over your head, sometimes the best feeling in the world is reminding them that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. After spending over 30 years in sports entertainment, I still have the same hunger, the same desire to show people that doubt me that they're making a mistake. I still want to win championships, and I still want to compete at the highest level. I just have the added benefit of getting to watch my son now walk the roads that I traveled years before. He'll face those same doubts, and hopefully I've given him the tools to overcome and prove people wrong. As for me, the greatest mask of all time, well, let's just say that this old filthy animal still has plenty of tricks left up his sleeve, plenty of 619s left to dial up, and plenty of lessons to teach the WWE Superstars. I'm fortunate enough to say that I'm so proud of what I've done in the ring. Proud of who I've competed against, proud of who I've defeated, and proud of the records I've set. The love of the fans, the friendships I've made everywhere I've been, and the security sports entertainment has given my family, I couldn't have asked for anything more. It's no mystery that the love of the fans is what makes me truly feel like a king.